Heavy hitters have landed outside of our Beacon Hill studio. The bad news is Cosmo Macero of O'Neill & Associates. For some reason, your microphone won't work, but you like having one in your hand anyway, so you just keep that there.
It's a 4G mic. This is a 4G.
That's not going to work for us.
Congratulations on that new library up in your town.
Yeah, thank you very much. This is punishment for you giving out bitter honey at Halloween. Bitter honey, who does that anymore? Peter Kagis of the Boston Phoenix, a man who owns a summer house in the very red state of Maine now.
As goes Maine, yes, for the first time since 1974. Both houses of the state legislature and the governor.
How soon before the for sale goes up?
I think he's already got the real estate agent coming over.
You look good with that mic, Cosmo. Don't let anybody tell you different. Let's get started, Peter. I'll start with you because you love the man you have for years. George W. Bush got the new book out, doing television interviews. You probably saw him last night. What do you make? You can go anywhere here, but the Katrina stuff, the Iraq stuff, the waterboarding, what did you make of the president on TV?
Well, a general impression, it's sort of like a political zombie movie, Night of the Living Dead. I thought Bush was examined himself more than he ever has. He was, he admitted that they botched Iran, they botched Katrina. He wasn't very convincing on Iran. I mean, he merely said that they shouldn't have done the mission accomplished. I had a hard time watching him. It just made me feel like I was in a time warp. I didn't even get angry. He used to really tick me off. It's just like I think the problems the nation faces now are just so gigantic that at least I'm living in the moment, and he seems like yesterday's news.
Cosmo?
I found two telling signs, maybe two alarming signs of weakness in a president who had an image as a strong president. Number one, on the waterboarding, when he talks about how he relied, in his very words, hey, that's what my lawyer said. He relied on his legal counsel. Well, okay, you rely on your staff, but it was really a passing the buck kind of moment. And then number two, when he talks about the Iraq war and how he calls himself a dissenting voice, that he was pulled into the war and didn't want to do it. I mean, if nothing else illustrates the notion that Dick Cheney was running the show, that was it. So I think two sort of alarming signs of weakness from a president who otherwise would see himself as a strong figure.
Yeah, he came across as amiable and clueless. A little bit of his edge. He had a little bit of his edge when he was asked about being called a racist because of his response to Katrina. I didn't think he was very convincing. Bush himself is not a racist. The government's neglect of New Orleans was.
And he passed the buck on that one too. Cosmo blamed the governor of Louisiana for the problems down here.
He did, and then he admitted that he never should have said, "Hey, Mike, you're doing a great job" on Mike Brown. So,
Brownie, you're doing a good job.
Yeah, Brownie, you're doing a good job. So, a moment of reflection, but certainly an obvious one. I mean, so.
Quickly, let me get your thoughts on this. My feeling is I love that the president is talking about the seminal moments of his presidency so soon after. On the other hand, if you didn't like Bush before, you're not going to like him now. If you liked him before, you like him now.
Yeah, correct.
I agree. And I think if you liked him before, you might be troubled by some of these revelations, particularly, again, this sort of notion of...
Yeah, but if you liked him before, aren't you looking at it in the context of Obama dancing in India right now, saying we need a little more cowboy in the White House than we've had the last 2 years?
Yeah, certainly bad timing by the president, this president, and going to India to a nice reminder to people as they've spoken about the economy that, hey, you know what, all of our jobs seem to be going overseas, many of them to India. Not good political timing for him.
All right, let's shift gears for a second. The election is over. Tuesday's behind us now. The dust is settled. So we must look ahead, gentlemen, to the next election, 2012. And there's a lot of rumor and speculation out there. Who loves rumor and speculation more than the heavy hitters? Cosmo, keep that mic right up in front of you if you would. Thanks. Scott Brown, 2012. We're told now that he was an anomaly. The Democrats seem emboldened Peter to think that, hey, we can get this guy in 2012. Two names that have surfaced, Vicki Kennedy and Thomas M. Menino. Either of these two going to run against Scott Brown in 2012?
Tom Menino hasn't made me privy to his deepest thoughts. But I don't think Menino wants to be anything other than mayor of Boston. Vicki Kennedy's not saying no. She could squelch this. Personally, I'm not sure I'd like to see her run again. I think Vicki Kennedy, I think Scott Brown can be beaten. I'm not sure he can be beaten by Vicki Kennedy, though.
Is Brown vulnerable, Cosmo? And what do you make of these rumors?
I think
get that microphone right up.
The rumor. It's like I'm at a press conference.
Your own.
The rumors are rumors. Like Peter, I don't think I want to see Vicki Kennedy run. I think Tom Menino could do a lot of things. I agree. I think he wants to be the mayor, and that's his role. I don't think anyone would relish running against him for anything, even U.S. Senate. I think Brown is vulnerable only in the sense that Democrats are obviously emboldened, as they should be, by the results of this election last week. And they feel like, okay, we can reset the equilibrium. Let's get this right, though, and let's find the right candidate. And I got to say, there's no shortage of good, qualified, strong kind of oak candidates here in Massachusetts.
A name we haven't heard, but I bet in the rumor mill will pop up, is Governor Deval Patrick.
Possibly. Stephen Lynch is another name to look for.
Stephen Lynch and Capuano again. And
Capuano again? Why would you go back to that?
I'm not saying why would we, why would he? He was a good candidate.
All right, let's quickly switch gears because I only got a minute left, Cosmo, and you're obsessed with this one. Charlie Crist, the outgoing governor in Florida, has said in his last month in office he may pardon Jim Morrison. Yes, the Jim Morrison of the Doors who died 40 years ago, allegedly. As cockamamie an idea as this is, Cosmo, the question becomes, if you had pardon power, who would you pardon?
Real quick, you got to earn a pardon. A little history lesson, you got to earn a pardon. Eugene Debs in 1920 ran for president while he was in prison, got 1 million votes. He got pardoned by Warren Harding. That's earning your pardon. So you got to do something remarkable. I got to go with either Paris Hilton or Wesley Snipes. Paris, because a couple of years ago she had that pop song that was actually really good, really catchy. Wesley Snipes owes $41 million to the government for tax evasion. Went into a sentencing hearing, gave him a check for $5. That's remarkable. So I got to go with one of those two. I'd pardon one of them.
That last answer sort of gives you an indication why we didn't plug your mic in today, Cosmo. Peter, we're over time. You are with the Boston Phoenix. You are with O'Neill & Associates. They're the hitters. Casey, we may never know who Peter would pardon.
Thank God.